Hey, and welcome back to the Talos Principle and the tower. We aren't even at the tower, I don't know, that's just what the main menu told me, but I guess the tower is over here. Last time we solved a bunch of stuff in the tower, and today we are going to progress. And also we found, like, star number 9. I do believe, like, I still firmly believe...
to track primary subject. Access denied. Query.
Well, access denied, exactly. No, I still believe that, like, from a game design perspective... Oh, we are really fast, actually. Making me kind of nervous. From a game design perspective, it would make sense to have, like, a star at the top of the tower to basically let us know, hey, we need those stars later. Because I still believe that to get the last area, we are probably going to need a password to, like, unlock that, right? Which... in my opinion, would make sense, since we needed, like, other passwords to unlock other elevator levels, basically. And the star would basically point us the right direction. Hey, this is something related to the stars, right? Like, this is basically my theory, why that could be the case. But I might also just be wrong, and there's, like, a star hidden, like, in a messenger area or something like that. Because we've had one hidden in there, and admittedly, I think that's kind of unfair that only one of the areas has one of those, so I don't know. In any case, we do have more puzzles. They do get more complex every single time. So, what I have kind of learned over all of the time that I have been doing those puzzles is basically that if it's possible for me to build a block of sorts, I'm gonna just try it because it seems, I guess, better like that, right? Like there are certain combinations that you can make. Okay, this is a terrible one because now we have 6 up here. Okay, so like normally I would say, hey, let's just build a block like this one. The issue with this block in particular is though that we have these blocks and they never really build a block. Like not a good one at least, right? Like I can kind of combine them and I can do something like this and this piece. But I don't have like a long one, for example, to put on the other side, right? Like so we are kind of stuck with that. But we could still have some fun like this. Right, like this is now a combination. This works out. I still have you though, and you are really annoying. Yeah, you're not gonna work out like this, huh? That's not great. If I do it like this though, like this one's not fitting though, that's kind of the issue. So like whatever I'm doing here is already incorrect. I kind of want to get these ones out first, right? Like they are so annoying, so I would like to not have to deal with them later on. But obviously the issue is that they are somewhat limiting in how you can combine all of them. But like this, for example, is like a mostly flat surface. That's a decent start, I would say. We still can't do something like that. We can place this one in here, and then we have like a flat surface again, and... Wait. No, wait a second, you're not rotated the right way, huh? Right, like you don't fit together like that. You would fit if I could do something like that, right? Like if I could combine these two, for example, I could put like a square together with those, but obviously then we have like all of the other issues, so this is definitely not working. Let's reset that. I'm just gonna put them like randomly in here. At some point, right, like statistically speaking, we are going to find a solution at some point if I continue like this. Like, that's something. And then we can plug in this one. So we at least have like used most of those at this point. And looks like I found a solution. That's why you just plug them in randomly. And that's always the solution. Just try it, right? Like at some point, statistically, this is like there's like a joke in programming, like sorting algorithms, where there are like different ones that have like different speeds, and there's like one that's just like silly, which is called bogo sort. That's basically what I just did. Bogo sort is just randomize an array or like a list of elements. And it's either going to be correct or it's not going to be correct, and just continue until you're done, right? Like, statistically speaking, sometimes it's just going to be a runtime of 1 because you only have to do it once. Or like technically it's n, depending on like how you want to see it, because like n basically means like you have to like randomize every single element. And then there's like the more interesting version of that, which is I think it was just Quantum Sword, which is like Bogo Sword, but like you are in the Quantum version of the Bogo Swords where it's just like correct. I know, it's like a silly idea, I just had to think about, but completely unrelated to this. You know what, at this point, like I've spent so much time up here, I'm actually not feeling as queasy anymore whenever I look down. But it's certainly an experience, and I would never do that in real life. For, you know, obvious reasons. Ooh, text. Sheep. So, I guess no one got this far before? I know some of my answers were wrong now. I just don't know which ones. I have these theories and wild explanations, but I don't know which to bank on. Reasonable. That's like kind of where I am currently, right? Like I have theories and they are very much shaped by like my real life version of myself, right? Like, and I don't actually know if like the world this game is in, set in, is actually our world, right? Like I mentioned this before, like maybe this is all created by some aliens that have like no idea about Earth, and it's just like looks like it to me personally, right? Anyway, the solution to a cycle isn't the perfection of one being, but the product of a mass endeavor. That is why I say to all those who came after me, or who will come after me, I will await you at the summit of the tower, and use what I have learned to assist you as I can. The shepherd again. Reasonable. Also interesting. Okay, here's another thing that I just thought about. Got a comment that I should check out The Egg. It's a short story. It's basically about reincarnating as like the same soul over and over again. And I was thinking, okay, there are like no time travel shenanigans, because like in that version, like I talked about this in a very previous episode about how, you know, there's like the idea, like one of the ideas of like reincarnation is basically you have like one soul that basically like wanders between like bodies. And by that I mean like once the life is over, basically the soul gets reincarnated into another body at like a random point in time, right? Like it could be at the same time, right? Like currently I have the soul, and then next, once I die, you are going to have the soul and be watching me, who's still you technically, right? Like because we would all be the same soul in a way. And I just remembered something. Like I said, like this is not quite the same, because like there's still the idea, right? Like at the end, basically the story of the egg is that all of this is like kind of, I guess the soul that they're talking about. I'm sorry about like spoiling a very short story. Just Google The Egg, you're going to find it. A very short story. It's like 1 page long, right? Like a very short story. But the idea was basically that the soul was like still being birthed, and like the whole universe was just there to like form experiences, and then like once you're done, then you get like properly birthed, because it was like about like some alien species basically. And I thought like, wow, this is like really fitting, except for the time thing. But I just remembered something, and that was that certain characters talked about how certain text just appeared, right? Like even though, and this has like two implications. Either it is time travel shenanigans, basically, right? Like where like time is like a little bit weird. Alternatively, everything is happening at the same time, which is also weirdly time travel shenanigans if you really want to think about it, right? At least to us who can't really see the world fully. That's probably a way to put it. Anyway, just had to think about that. Currently I'm more focused on the puzzles. Do we have anything new here? Probably. I always expect to see... Ooh. A microchip, okay. Let's check that one out. I'm gonna explore in silence again. So what do we have to tell me over here?
There are flaws in the system. I think sometimes it accesses the wrong databases, pulls random data. I don't know how bad it is. It all seems to be stable, but I can't tell what kind of impact this is going to have on the process, and I just don't have the strength to go over all of the code again. I just don't want it all to be for nothing. I spent all my time here. I didn't visit my parents. I didn't see my friends. I did nothing but work, and I'm so scared that it didn't mean anything, that I just wasted it all because I thought we could... we could save the world.
That is sure a sad nervous breakdown, especially since we just heard that her best friend died just recently, like from that recording. Not being able to see anyone spending, right, like a last glimmer of hope basically following that one. And now questioning if all of it was worth it. But this also kinda, like, I'm assuming, right, like she said she doesn't have the strength, and she did sound like weaker and weaker, like over the last few recordings. Partially, again, because like her friend died, and I don't know if this is like coming only from that point, or maybe she also starts having those symptoms that make her weaker. I still don't know what the symptoms exactly are, right? So I'm assuming that she's going to die soon in that recording as well. And I'm just gonna go through here already. There's going to be a recording, interesting. And the question if all of it was worth it, right? Like, this is one of those experiments, right? Like, there are so many things you can do in life where the attempt to do something was worth it. The question is, would it have been worth it if like nothing worked in the system at the end, right? Like, you spent all that time. Would it have been worth it? Because like normally you, like, if you have like an experience, you can learn from it, even if it like fails, whatever it may be. Right, you try to learn something, you go for like some event and it wasn't like that fun. Maybe it ruins something. Like, you generally have like a whole life ahead of you afterwards. I don't have the keys. But the same can't be said for her, so... Anyway, I'm just gonna climb the ladder for now. Definitely something to think about. We do have a cube. I love the cube. Okay, why do we need the cube? We can... Is there... I mean, we can definitely get up here, right? That's not the issue, but like, what do I do then? Oh, okay, I see it. But we only have one of those, right? Like, currently I'm thinking, okay, this is something that I saw, like, that I did wrong in like another puzzle, but like I could... You know what? This could actually be high enough. I might just be overthinking this. Okay, so I'm going to record this. I'm going to have like a... Oh wait, I clicked this one. I wanted to put like a pause point here so I get the chance to jump up there. Then I'm gonna put this one over there and go over here with that thing. And then I'm gonna jump on top. Like this. This should actually be everything. Jump the tool first, yeah. So like if I play this again, I can jump on top. I can grab the cube. This is important. I have to grab the cube. Resume the playback. You're going to come over here and pick me up in a second. But before you do, I can put the cube on top, stand on top, and now we should be high enough to actually be able to reach the key. I had like a similar puzzle before and I completely missed that. Yeah, okay, this is barely enough. And now I can just open the door. That's everything apparently. Okay. I can expect slightly more. I'm just gonna look around if there's like anything hidden before I interact with the terminal. Short area, I guess. And then again, it seems like there's always going to be like one singular puzzle here. I'm just a bit suspicious. Okay, now you are... Like, you now recognize that this is done here. Actually, like, there's one thing that I think is rather fascinating. I'm gonna run through this one, just because it bothers me, but... Okay, you know, this was actually what I had to check. There's like a purple wall here. Because otherwise we could have used the recording thing and recorded a copy like outside of this area. Anyway, time to read, I guess. This time we're probably going to have to actually figure out how to get the password, right? Sacred numbers? Athena 16 and remember. Let's start with the sacred numbers. And so the blessed messenger revealed unto me the bones of New Jerusalem, slumbering in the dust that was the body of Adam, awaiting the day of resurrection. And lo and behold, within the dust was concealed a holy fire, and the fire something the sacred numbers, of which the one you seek is something door pass 752. And I perceived that with the holy fire and the sacred knowledge of numbers and sigils, the rekindling percent. Lovely. Okay, we do know the password now, 752, I can remember that. It's like almost 753, but like, you know, one lower. I can probably figure that one out. Did actually finish my thought about like the random events here, right? Because there was like a talk about like the random access that is going to happen sometimes where like random data is like pulled constantly. I was thinking maybe the diary, I'm gonna call it, or like the audio recordings, they might be randomly pulled, which would make sense because they don't seem to be like physically there. As opposed to like all of the other stuff, and I never really understood why they were in the different areas, right? Like they didn't really feel fitting, right? They could have also been on a PC that we could have used to query something on there. But there's still the weird thing about like why exactly do I only get information in chunks? That's something that I've not really understood about like the entire game. Why I always need to reach like a new terminal to get like 3 more texts basically that oftentimes are like very unrelated to anything except for like spurning my thought processes. I mean, there's like definitely a game design reason for that, because if they just gave me like all of the texts instantly, I would probably burn out on them before I actually read them, right? Like, so there is a reason like from a game design perspective, but I don't know if there's one from a lore perspective, unless the lore of the game is that this is exactly why we get that like step by step, which still, by the way, doesn't really explain the serpent, for example, right? The serpent is still like a massive mystery to me personally. Maybe I should have asked them for a name. They probably wouldn't have given me the real one, like when I had the chance to get like one question truthfully answered, because, you know, again, there's quite a disparity when it comes to knowledge, but we haven't really heard about them in quite some time. They could have also just been like Samsara or someone like that, right? But Samsara, maybe? I mean, like, the other theory was always like, hey, maybe it's someone who actually reached the top and got like a little bit more control over like the system and actually is sitting up there as a person, right, sitting on a computer and always connecting to us actually. But it could also just be somebody in the machine, like actually, who does not have like any, I'm gonna call it like external senses, even though that doesn't really make any sense anyway, because everything is digital anyway, but like more limited senses, that's probably a way to put it. Anyway, Athena. 16. A second awakening in error. Someone, the fires burned here, but beyond the incense she could smell the cold wind from the kingdom of Artemis, where +pound dollar lore, I don't know, output error log.txt. But I am not Hephaestus, you see, for though I wield his hammer and know the secrets of his forge, I am not lame, and neither am I a god. Who are you, then, they said. Wait, the Forge God? I feel like I've seen the depiction before about like a Forge God like in basically a wheelchair. I mean, I guess I just never put the two and two together here. Interesting, okay. Remember.txt, that's a perfect one. I always need those kinds of files somewhere, and then I find them like years later and I don't even know what I want to remember, because I'm not great at putting great comments in those remember text files. And oftentimes just like, I don't know, like a number combination or something like that, or like one word or like a few words, and I don't even know in what context they were. Anyway, I don't know if anyone's ever going to read this, but if you do, if we succeeded, then I want you to know that Alexandra stayed until the last moment. I'm leaving. Too tired, too broken, desperate for a few moments of peace with my remaining loved ones. But she's still there, and she won't give up. And yes, there are thousands like her all over the world, but giving everything they have because they believe in humanity. But She's the one that I know as a real person, a colleague, a friend. I know that she likes peanut ice cream and hates strawberry. Who would hate strawberry? That her favorite band is Pink Floyd, that her favorite poet is Blake, that her favorite TV show is Futurama, reasonable. Something in ASCII. Studied at Cornell, that her dad's name was Carl, that her mom's name was ASCII. I don't know if I should be ashamed for leaving, but I know that I am proud of her. She was the best of us. Remember her. ASCII. I mean, it is nice that she at least got some recognition for her work, for her sacrifice, that she stayed until the last moment. Like, I'm assuming that she literally, like, was the last one in the team there, which is why this is probably the last note about her. She is probably not going to write a note like that about herself. The question still remains, like, about how long she was able to continue, because, you know, obviously there's going to be a limit to for her. Anyway, those are like some ASCII things that would be interesting to know, but that would require me to edit those episodes on time, right? Anyway, let's close that one, and sacred numbers was 752. Just checking again. 752. I am great at remembering, apparently. Device manager. Okay. We do have a driver, yeah. And we are going to go into the access control. I would like to unlock floor 5. 752. Code accepted. Unlocking. And we're done. Only 2 more floors. Okay, two more floors remain, but like one of them is area 6, which is interesting. Also, we only have like 14 more of the red pieces, which is another very interesting thing. Like, we've definitely gone through those in recent episodes. I mean, it makes sense, but still. Yeah. And we do see the seemingly endless icy mountains. But that's it. Also, we are getting really close to the storm. Like, there's like one more level that's like definitely below there, but then we have like a spiraling staircase. Is it a staircase or like at least like a ramp? Yeah, definitely more of a ramp. I just thought because like you know, when I zoomed in, like the way it loaded, it kind of reminded me more of a staircase, but I feel like it's more of a ramp looking at it. But I guess this is for future me to figure out, because this is the end of the episode. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be seeing you next time. Till then, have a good one, and bye-bye.